were just jobs, and that's how I sort of progressed in the military. And what I found was because I wasn't the most intelligent person, I could physically get myself to where I needed to be in the military. So the more fit you became, and I used my fitness as a tool I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but to get my rank, and to sort of I loved the life, just traveling around the world and causing trouble. And
the structure is important too. That's one of the things that I love about it is there's a structure, and everybody tries within reason to follow the structure. But in the American military, like in the Army, there's a rule for everything. There's a regulation how to tie your boots and how to wear your uniform.
Yes.
Like literally.
No, it's literally written down somewhere for everything that is done.
Yeah, that's one of the things I miss a lot about it, and the camaraderie.
Someone rang me the other day, and they're writing a book about film producing, and they asked me, as a director and a writer and a director, because I wrote and directed Penitent. They said, how did you put together Penitent? And the reason I put it together in the way I did was using everything I was taught in the military to organize people and to be the leader of that, and the leadership skills that I learned in it was. So when I said I was going to make the film, to keep that vision for 7 years, because when you're making a film with no budget and no money and telling everyone, we're going to make this and it's going to work. And you got people coming in, people leaving, people not believing in your vision, people trying to actually destroy your vision, which is one of the hardest things, and then not becoming violent towards them because they're about to destroy your dream. It was literally emotion. To make Penitent was an emotional roller coaster in itself.
You didn't beat them up, really?
No. But there was times that it was people I could have, neck stretched them and pulled their head off, but I didn't.
Yeah, it just seems like out of character for you not to beat somebody up. That's all.
I think that's been the hardest journey is to transfer, because I've also been a therapist for 12 years and had to do a lot of therapy on myself and learn about looking inward, and that was also part of the journey, was to look inward. And because I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2007, I realized I realized that I had serious problems, that going through the film, making the film, was a cathartic process for me, dealing with all these situations and managing people without using violence, and to use negotiations, and to also reflect inside and realize that was part of the journey, and actually also that what came out at the end of making Penitent was a team of artists that helped me finish the film, which I can now go forward with and use the same team again, because we all and work and collaborating, because as a director, all I see yourself as, you are the conductor of a very, of an orchestra. And if you've got a good orchestra, then you can conduct that to get the perfect music at the end. And also letting go of your own ego, because I might have a vision of how I want to make this film, but the editor's going to have his vision, the sound designer's going to have his vision, the cinematographer's definitely going to have his own vision, and then allowing them to have the creative freedom to finish what we've got, which is Penitent. And I'm really proud of it,
Yeah. Well, it's good that you went through therapy. I'm still in the drinking part of therapy, so.
Yeah.
Webster, do you think that one of the things that the movie also helped with is like giving you a purpose? Because that's one of the things that we see a lot of soldiers when they come back, is like they don't, you wake up every day and like everything is laid out. Like you do PT, you do this, and when you get out, do you feel like the film has helped like put like a mission back on you?
It's definitely it gave me a creative vent, because I find if I do manual labor work, and also I work as a therapist part-time as well, so I do like manual labor work. I'm basically a jack of all trades, a master of none. I just do everything I got to do to hustle. You're just a hustler, just got to keep the pennies coming in and pay the mortgage, but that the making the films, that's my artwork, that's. I don't know how I'm going to be in the future if I'm dealing with big budgets, and then all of a sudden I've got to answer to someone or answer to a boss. And that's the thing I've got to work out next, is where do I go next? If we're working with huge amounts of money, does the fun come out of it? Does, you know, because I've not done it I've only ever made 2 films now with no money, and both of them have been painful. Penitent on the last 2 years was fun, but the films in the past have been absolute hell to make, you know, because you're just dealing with lots of egos and lots of different politics. And also, if you've got no money to pay anybody and you're trying to convince people to come along for the ride, the great thing about what happened last year was when we was winning all these awards, like people like Jordan, the editor, Jordan Cottingham, you know, he's a young art student, and all of a sudden now he's won a Cannes World Film Festival for best editor. Or Lee Groves, who's been working in the music industry for years with David Bowie and Janet Jackson and all these like big artists, and all of a sudden takes a punt with us amateurs on this film, and he creates this amazing music score because he wanted to basically learn about making music scores for films. So he practiced his craft on our film, and now we've got this stunning, amazing music score done by like one of the greatest music producers in the world.
Right.
So we got Lee Groves on board, but he said working with us was just as much fun as working with some of the greats, you know, because he had that creative freedom because we didn't know what we were doing.
Well, that's the fun part.
But Lee was between me, Lee, and Jordan. At one point, we would like go out, shoot some stuff, and then this guy called Kyle. We had Kyle Richardson came in. He was the cinematographer who took over from John O'Regan. John O'Regan was like he teaches cinematography at the university, and he was amazing. But his shoulder gave way, and it was suddenly didn't have a cinematographer. Kyle came in, and between what we were shooting and then what Jordan was editing, and then we would send it to America where Lee Groves was editing it in Boston, and then he would send it back to us, and we were like crafting the film, and it was just such a beautiful process. I was like, oh God, if it could just stay like this, we'll go out, shoot the stuff, come back, Jordan edits it, then we send it to Lee puts the score on it, and in the end it was just that was the most joyous part of making Penitent, was putting it together. And do you know what, none of them said no, they just got on with it. But at the beginning, you get all these people that they want to sort of get in on your film, but they just want the IMDb credit, which is sad, really, you know. And then they start self-sabotaging it, and like the guy that I was working with at the beginning deleted 3 days of the footage on a hard drive because he said, "I'm running out of hard drive space, so you're going to produce me a new hard drive in the next 2 days," which I didn't have the money to buy, or I'm going to start deleting footage, and I had to go out fishing and get the money quickly. Which we went around to his house and pleaded with him, please don't delete any more footage. I've got an editor, you don't need to delete it. And how I didn't kick the shit out of him, I don't know. But
that's what the question I had. It's like,
honestly,
yeah.
So I've never said it on there, but an absolute grade A asshole to work with, and I hope I never see him again. Because it drove me mad. To delete footage, I think, is sacrilege. When all those actors have turned up, right, and they're working for nothing.
See, then
right?
people,
I won't name the guy, but flipping hell, man, I was fucking
they wonder why.
Pissed me right off.
Wow.
I mean, anyone who does that that's criminal negligence, and you should get the death penalty.
Definitely, I agree.
Why do that? What a dick! What an absolute dick!
Yeah, it is a dick.
Some people just like being a dick.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to delete this footage. Yeah, that's a really good idea, isn't it?
Do you say it just like that?
No, dude, I feel like this is therapy now. I've got that off my chest. I've said it to the world. Cock with a capital C.
Composed than I am. If someone said that to me, I'd be like, all right, man, I guess I gotta blow up your house.
Right. It's like,
hey Rico, your mic is wicked low.
Oh yeah,
bro. The pettiness in Richard is what's up, bro.
But anyway, now on a peaceful note, I've done a lot of therapy, and I've forgiven him. I've forgiven him.
So, Webster, what is the long-term goal with the movie? Are you trying to get it into?
Well, I tell you what, America have been the only people that in Bayview Entertainment took our film on, because obviously the starting of the war in Ukraine hasn't been the best for people wanting to make war films about the Eastern Bloc. So
right.
It was like we couldn't have hit it at the more wrong time. Every film I bring out is always at the wrong time. It's like, yeah, no one's going to be interested in watching something that's about the Eastern Bloc raking up the past. And I didn't want to kick the Bosnia War off again. So, yeah, what happened was basically Bayview Entertainment in America went, "We'll take your film," and I was like, looked at some of the films and one of my friends has got a film out with them. Dave Reynolds, bless him, he passed away. They brought a film out called Louisa, which is it's an animation about a lifeboat rescue that happened 100 years ago in England, and it's a beautiful film. It's a beautiful film. In fact, I'll just have a look if it's in my cupboard here. I'll just get the DVD out and show you it, so in case there's someone out there that wants to buy it, because Dave passed away recently of cancer, and he put a bit. It's called Louisa. It's on Amazon Prime. I should be plugging me in.
Yeah,
but it's a beautiful animation. It's not got a massive budget. It's not the best cover, but for a Christmas film, it's like a Christmas film as well, and it's got a beautiful score on it. Have you ever seen The Snowman, the British Raymond Briggs, The Snowman? If you got children, it's definitely worth watching it with some with your kids at Christmas.
Okay, that sounds better than that Snowman movie with Michael Keaton, because that sucked.
My daughter wanted to watch that the other day.
He went from Batman to Snowman. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Oh, I got to give my friend Dean Kevin a shout out. I've been working him on doing the oysters at the moment, and Martin Leahy, and we've been getting the oysters in for Christmas time, because we sell them to France, and France go mad for the oysters and the snails and all that lot. So we're doing that at the moment. We're getting up at 6 o'clock, going in, and
wow,
I got to go in the water tomorrow. I got to go up to my nipples. And pull bags of mussels out of the sea. I've just got my wetsuit out for it tomorrow, but this is the life. This is the Hollywood lifestyle. See that everyone's sort of.
How hard is it to catch snails?
You just pick them off the.
That's what I thought. I was like,
just pick them off the rock.
Snails. How hard is it to hunt a snail?
They are fast. They're fast.
You should say, "I'm going to pick up snails." Hunting is a whole different thing.
Foraging. So you haven't seen Penitent yet? None of you have seen it? I thought you would have seen it.
No. I actually said this to Jeff earlier. I said I was flipping through, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, here's Penitent, here's Diary of a Disgraced Soldier. I said, I got to watch these before the show Wednesday. And then I clicked over and I went, oh, shit, I got to finish watching this series I'm watching. I was like, and all of a sudden it's fucking Wednesday, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to watch the movies.
What a dick move! Oh my god!
Hey Rico, your mic's wicked low. I can't hear you.
I can hear him.
Oh, my bad about that.
You muted your mic?
I did. I was muting my mic as I went to get my hood. I'm cold.
Oh,
so we'll treat you right.
But for all our viewers, real quick, if you do want to check out Penitent, or just Diary of a Disgraced Soldier, or anything that this amazing gentleman has done, it's in the show notes, up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us from. Usually Leo does that, and I forgot he wasn't here. So now back to the show.
I've got a book. I've got a book called Soldier of Consequence as well. So there's 3 products on Amazon Prime. Soldier of Consequence, which is about what happened to me with getting arrested and being a world news story at one point with filming that incident that
what's the shipping from the UK to the US? Because I'd buy the book, but I have to have it autographed. So I can't buy it unless it's autographed, because then it goes on the shelf.
That's a good point right there. That's a good point right there, Ben.
Yes,
I have the same question actually.
What if I post out some stickers to you? I'll put some signatures on these stickers. You stick it on your book.
That
You could actually do that. You could actually could do that. I have seen
everybody in
that.
the army.
Well, I'll tell you what I wanted to do. Once you've seen Penitent, I've got this was left over from when we were doing our promotion. The artwork is amazing. This
it is amazing.
This was done by a local artist in England, and yeah, what I want to do is try and get all this get Steve to sign it. Steve Kelly. I want to see if Steve will come on your podcast because he does when you've watched the film, you'll see that he does an amazing job.
Yeah,
Steve Kelly, Julian Segar. Obviously, you've met him. He's an animal in it, an absolute animal. Jason Girders, Dave Trout, and Des Edwards, and all of. I'll try and get signatures from Ali Harrison. Get them to sign it, and then if we could send it over to you guys, and then you could perhaps put it up as a. I don't know. Put it up as
I'm gonna have to get Amazon Prime now.
Put it up as a dartboard.
Okay.
Is that what you said? Dude, I'm glad Julian's not watching right now.
What?
Yeah,
right.
Jules is a unit. You've seen when you see the film, we see what he does to me in it. You'll be he done mess about.
I gotta ask. You were a soldier for a little while. What was one of the things that you enjoyed the most out of being a soldier?
I think the best, the most proudest I was when I trained recruits. I went back to where I was trained, and I got to train for 12 weeks recruits to become soldiers. So like taking them from civilians to it was like proper. It was my Full Metal Jacket moment. Like I was listening to that.
So you tactically subdued a lot of people to the ground with the minimum amount of force necessary.
Oh, no.
You understand?
I said to them, I said, guys, you can either have Winchester's training, and ATR Winchester it was called, where we trained. I can't remember what ATR stands for now. I've lost my military, but ATR Winchester is where we trained them. And I said, you can either have ATR Winchester's recruit training, or you could have my training for your final exercise. And they said, we're going to Afghanistan, we want your training. So we put them through interrogation. We completely threw the rule book out, and we took them to another level. We had to take them to war, because these people, if they don't, they're gonna. And gratefully, all of them come back alive, and they're friends with me now on Facebook. And there's a picture. I'll try and find it of me with my recruits. And we've got this evil stare, like sending them to war, and we had this photograph taken, and yeah, it was a good moment, That was one of my proudest moments.
That's really cool that you say that, because like I went to you'll get a chuckle out of this. I went to Iraq like straight out of basic training.
Yeah,
and like I didn't have that pre-deployment training, and like I realize now, looking back after running missions with these guys and stuff, that it's so important. Because like if I can't trust you to take a hit or to like really like lose your shit when we need to, like I can't trust you in a combat zone. So like that pre-deployment training, man, is you bond a lot too.
Yeah, the Afghanis don't have that same rule book. I don't know if you noticed that over there.
The bad guys don't. Let's say the bad guys.
Yeah, the bad guys.
The bad guys.
The bad guys, bro. Just right. No, that's really cool. That's 12 weeks, man. That's awesome.
So I do have a question though. So you had mentioned earlier in the show that you had PTSD, and I know I saw somewhere that you're actually a trainer. Wow, we just lost Jeff again. He's having serious.
He's got pause. He's got.
He's got some serious weather going on in his area right now, so it keeps knocking out his internet. But you actually work with veterans suffering now. Is that correct?
I have done, yeah. And I mean, I would still say I'm recovering through PT. I'm still going through the journey. I thought at one point I'd completely mastered it, but during COVID and the mask wearing bullshit and all the nonsense that went with COVID restrictions just wound me up, and I lost a lot of money in my businesses, and I was seriously angry at the government, and it ignited stuff in me that I'd thought that I'd buried, and I still work through those my aggressive anger towards what I see as a dystopian cloud that came over not just England but the whole world, and as a soldier, and my grandfather being a soldier as well, we fought as your forefathers fought for in our country. We'd be speaking fucking German without you guys,
Right.
And we fought for people, civilians, to have the rights to freedom of speech. And I've seen my son's generation have 2 or 3 years stripped away from them. You know, people call them snowflakes and that, but man, when I was 18, 19, I could go to France, I could go to Europe, I could travel anywhere I wanted. I wasn't restricted.
Right.
I could do anything. I could do anything I wanted. And now all of a sudden, my generation are saying to the younger generation, you can't have what we've had. And I'm like, fuck you, man. This is what I fought for. I fought for people to have freedom of choice. And what I'm seeing is more of the choices are being taken away, more of the freedoms have been taken away. And that fucking pisses me off. You know, that ignites my PTSD more than anything. Because
we have a friend that kind of described what you're saying with the best phrase that I've ever heard. And he's like, I heard this from a movie, and he told me, he's like, people don't understand that a lot of us went to war for less than $50,000 a year. Look at all the wild shit that we did.
$15,000.
Wow!
Oh!
What the duck?
A private soldier is on about in England is on about. It might have gone up now. It might be.
But didn't you get hazardous pay? You got hazardous pay.
No, mate.
No. What?
I think Rico froze. No.
I thought he did.
That's unbelievable. I thought I misheard you. I was like, oh my God.
I will never bitch about my deployment again, bro. Oh my God. But to tell you this, my friend says, you know, we went to war for, $50,000, less than $50,000 a year. And we did some gangster shit. The fuck you think we're going to do for the people that we really love?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
That's what people don't get about
the sleeping. There's a sleeping giant, and I think the more they withdraw freedoms, the more they withdraw stuff away. Like we saw what happened in Canada, you know, with like that fucking Justin Trudeau, that cocksucker. You know what he done to his country, and that dickhead in New Zealand, Jacinda, whatever the fucking name is, the skinny. Fucking,
I know you're talking about
skeleton head. You know what these people are doing is disgusting, and us veterans are sitting back watching and going, "You're behaving no different than Saddam Hussein." In fact, Saddam Hussein wasn't that bad. I spoke to people in Iraq, and they said he wasn't that bad. He left us alone. Like the people in the Maysan province, the tribes. I spoke to people. I said, "What did you think of Saddam?" He said, "Well, to be honest, he just left us alone. We just, obviously roasted people alive and done some crazy ass shit." But
we were in Baghdad.
Let me just tell it. Can I just tell this story quickly? There was a war memorial in Basra. They went back like to the First World War, and Saddam had it moved because they were going to build on this area. He had it moved brick by brick. So if he was that disrespecting of he would have just demolished it, wouldn't he? So.
Well,
he had some morals. I'm not saying Saddam was a great guy, but the thing is, we're told so much fucking bullshit.
Oh yeah,
so much bullshit.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, Eric, I interrupted you. Sorry.
No, the U.S. actually put him in charge. Believe it or not. And the reason they put him in charge is because he could keep a lid on things. Not because he was a great guy. No. He kept order. That was it.
He murdered people.
Well, he did murder people. I didn't say he was a great guy. I said he kept order. There's a difference. Okay.
Yeah, we found the mass graves of him. He buried, Kuwaiti people on the, buried them alive. He done some fucked up shit. But we've got politicians in this country that use midazolam, which is an end of life drug, to kill off all the old people. The greatest generation that lived, they killed them off and didn't let them see their families. I don't know if it happened in the States in the same way, but I know people that couldn't go and see their relatives. How dare they do that? How dare these scumbag generation?
You should come to Missouri, Webster.
Yeah, they do that in Canada, believe it or not.
You should come to Missouri, Webster. I think you would like Missouri, Webster.
What, you got some people there you want them to beat up?
No, I'm retired. I'm retired. I'd probably get beat up.
No, dude. No, listen, dude. I'm telling you, if you're ever in the U.S., come to Missouri. You're not gonna want to leave. I'll tell you that.
No, but believe it or not, this is true. Up in Canada, they're actually offering vets end of life service.
Oh, with terminal, if they have like terminal diseases and stuff.
No, post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to end it?"
All right,
because we'll help. We'll help.
Damn.
It
doesn't even have to be a doctor. It can be a nurse.
It saves them money on pensions. That's why. That's what they don't want to pay out for these people.
I don't doubt it.
Damn. Webster with the.
It's turning into a conspiracy show, Ben. This is turning into a.
That was on the news. That's not a conspiracy show. It was on the news.
That's why I just lit a joint.
I'm sober for this, bro. I'm sober. What are you doing?
Hey, man, like our viewers, like I said, you never know where our show is going to go. We were here to talk about Penitent and the movies.
I'll go deep down that rabbit hole. We're going to be up there with Alex Jones, mate. This is going to be.
Oh God, we're going to get a visit by the Men in Black.
I've got the papers. I've got the documentation.
I will say this though. It sounds to me like Martin is going to appear on the Rico podcast sometime in the near future.
Absolutely.
I'll be on it. I love a conspiracy now and then. Just keeps you.
You want the three of you want him and just the two of us on a show?
Oh,
it's you. Well, yeah. I mean, you don't need me there to sit, look pretty, and smoke weed,
bro. It would be wild. It would be. Right? It would be wild. Just the three of us talking about veteran stuff. It would get.
Well, that's pretty much what we've done tonight. So
that's true.
That's true, guys.
It's all good. No, it's great.
Questions. I love. Webster, this is dope.
No, this is great. You know,
this is awesome.
That's why people watch our show, because you just don't know where that show is going to end up going. Yeah, we do touch a little bit about what we say we're going to touch about, which would be your film career as a producer, an actor, the things that you've accomplished. But I'm just sitting here enjoying the conversation in depth, learning more.
I'm glad since it's your show. I'm glad you're enjoying the conversation. It's
well, fuck. I mean, you know, I think I got a couple questions in, and Jeff.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Jeff lost power, so I don't even know if he's coming back. Leo had to go eat dinner.
Webster, I gotta ask you, what's next, man? Like, what's your next film? I know that an idle mind.
Hey, that's Ben's question. No, hold on. That's Ben's question.
I know that an idle mind is a devil's playground, because I know I'm a soldier through and through, man. So I know that if I stay still, bro, I'll burn down a building.
It's not good.
What's next?
This is my easel behind it, because I'm an artist. I like paint. I do a lot of paintings and drawings and sketches first, and then that becomes my vision board of what I'm trying to. And it's amazing when you're making a film how if I draw a picture, literally next thing I know, I'm seeing the actors in front of me performing exactly what I've come up with, or doing a storyboard. I love that. That for me is like, I don't know if you've heard of The Secret, you know, the law of attraction and manifesting. You know, I've actually seen that happen with filmmaking. It's just unbelievable. Like I've had the vision in my head, found the location. I find the location first where I want to shoot it. I start thinking about the actors I'm going to use. I'm going to use Jules. Am I going to use Jim Maine? Am I going to use Steve Kelly? I think about the actors of what I know they can do. They're sort of, and I don't try and push the actors out of their comfort zone to be something that they're not. I always want them to be an extension of herself. If you watch Penitent, I'm in Penitent. My missus said to me, well, that's just you. You just behave like all the time, losing your temper and flipping out all the time. So, you know, I'm not trying to be something I'm not. And I don't want an actor to do that. I want to find, you know, if I'm going to cast somebody, I'll write the script around what the person can do. You know, like Jules is amazing to work with, because he's like me. He's got that dark side, and you can really tap into that with Jules. And the best thing about Penitent was creating the villains. You know, when you watch RoboCop and that scene where Peter Weller gets captured by the bad guys, Clarence Boddicker, and they shoot him up, and you just, hi Jeff, thanks for joining in. You just feel scared for Peter Weller, the character of Murphy, when he's about to get shot. I don't know when I watched that when I was a kid, watching that in the 80s. I remember shitting myself when they blew his hand off, and So I wanted to create a scene at the beginning of Penitent that sort of made you, you're drawn into these soldiers, and then all of a sudden this bad thing happens, and the villains are so scary that they become almost like demonic, and Jules just pulls that off massively. It's him and Des and Dave Trout was he's an ex-police officer. He was an ex-armed response police officer. So like the way he's moving with his weapon, this guy's done it for real. I want people that have done this shit for real. I don't like using people who don't know what they're doing. So there's a couple of soldiers that are in Penitent that I served with, like Liam Davies. I was in the army with him. He did 15 years, did 3 tours of Iraq.
Oh wow.
One of the guys that's doing the intelligence brief, he sounds like a farmer with his accent, and he's a plumber. He's a plumber now, but he'd been to Bosnia, so everything he's describing in the film is from. I said, just give an intelligence brief to do some officers, and I'll film it, and that's all we did. He said, right, guys, tomorrow you're going in. This group's going to be out here. You're going to be doing this task Alpha, task Bravo, task Charlie, and we just did it all exactly how it would have been in the military. So
I like that.
When you watch the film, and also the gunfire, we used real gunfire. So we took the sound engineer, the sound recordist, and my friend is still in the army, and they were going to go down to the shooting range in Cornwall. So I said, "Oh, will you be able to get us in?" So they let us come in, and we got in with the sound equipment and went into the butts. I don't know if you did that when you was in the army, gone down in the trenches, fired over your head.
Over you.
With a 50 cal.
Yeah.
With a 50 cal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Alec Baldwin was in the movie.
Who? You didn't know who was in the movie?
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
You're talking about using live weapons, so.
Yeah. He'll be doing a lot.
Part of him. I mean, he's kind of famous. So.
Yeah, Alex is probably he's going to be doing a long sentence, isn't he? Bless him.
He loves live fire action. He does.
But didn't he get some? He got some stupid idiot woman who didn't have a clue about weapons to teach them. She was doing all the firearms. I'm not saying that women can't do that. I'm just saying
it's still under investigation. I believe
there was a lot of things that led up to that. Yeah. It wasn't just
there's a
one
lot of
thing.
Things that led up to it that's been, but it's still under investigation, unfortunately. But it's not looking good.
No,
it's not, I mean,
So to find out about our amazing guest, look in the show notes down below. So Rico had asked what you had coming up in works. So I read somewhere that you're working on a couple of things. One called Grail.
Yeah.
And another called We'll Meet Again. So tell us a little bit about maybe Grail.
So Grail, when I was making Penitent, just at the end of Penitent, when I'd finished all the war scenes, I was exhausted, and I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and this just story came to me. When we was growing up as children in Cornwall, have you heard of Cornwall in England?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Cornwall. It's quite a sort of Celtic mystic part. It's a bit like Gaelic connected with Ireland and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's these old folklore tales that Jesus came to Cornwall, visited Cornwall, and that sounds completely nuts, right? But there was this tale that Jesus came to Cornwall, and there's all these stone crosses in Cornwall, like these stone monoliths. And you go around Cornwall, they're everywhere. Every churchyard has one of these, and they're 2,000 years old. And on it is a Celtic cross on one side, and on the back is a little kid with his arms up like this and a little tunic. And they reckon that the child version of Jesus, because he was being pursued by Herod, he went off with Joseph of Arimathea, who was his uncle at the end of his execution. And Joseph of Arimathea was a tradesman and traded all over the world, and was well traveled, and would come up through Gaul, which was France, and come up through the coast and travel across to Cornwall to trade for tin, because tin mines are really significant with Cornwall. There's still tin today. Hi, Jeff. So the legend was that Jesus would come to Cornwall to trade for tin, and they would bring gold and spices and merchant stuff from. And I thought, this is amazing tale. Imagine what this would look like to see like an ancient vessel coming in out of the mist into Cornwall. You can play the trailer while we're talking if you wanted. It just sort of show the sort of the scene that we shot. So I started to visualize what would that be if they met the pagan tribes of Cornwall, and I started to visualize it. And next thing, the story came to me, and I started writing it at 3 o'clock in the morning. And by the end of the morning, I had the sort of outline of Jesus comes to Cornwall, meets the descendant of Merlin, which was. So that's gonna be. I wasn't smoking nothing as well when I did this. Right, this was just. If I smoked joints, I'd be even. I think because my brain is mad enough. I don't need to take drugs. Right, if I took drugs, I don't know what I'd be.
It might calm you down.
I'd be locked up.
It might calm you down.
No, I've done it. I've tried it. It didn't. It just don't. For me,
I just want to murder more.
No, man. My brain is crazy enough. I need to. Just fresh air's enough for me. So back to the Jesus story anyway. So then, anyway, Jesus
he meets Merlin,
meets a descendant of Merlin. Not saying that because there's different timelines there, King Arthur and all that lot. And then there's this whole war going on with these Celtic tribes, and he's basically the story isn't about. It's about these tribes meeting this mystic man. Whether he's Jesus or not, that leaves for the viewer to decide. And that Jesus is just like he's just on job. What do they call it? Job training.
Oh, okay, on the job training. Yeah.
He's just on the boat. He's gone with his uncle Joseph. He's getting some work experience around the world, and he's. But how did Christianity get into England for a start? Because it's bloody miles away, isn't it? The difference geographically.
True.
So I was wondering, perhaps this is, and have you heard of William Blake? The work of William Blake, and he did the. Have you heard of the song Jerusalem? There's a song in England called Jerusalem. It's very the song Jerusalem says, and did those feet in ancient times walk upon green pastures green or something like that. So he was mentioning he was a coded message. Did Jesus come to England? And those satanic mills, which is a reference to the tin mines, the mines of Cornwall. And a lot of miners went to.
Oh, we had an issue there.
I think he froze up.
Oh,
froze up.
He's coming to us from across the pond, so
that's true.
Yeah, no, it's been great.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the dark with a lantern.
We just can't hear him.
I see that.
Or maybe he's actually.
Jeff actually lost.
Jeff, you lose power and everything?
Yeah, I lost power and everything. I'm on my phone. I got a lantern.
CIA shut us down.
Yep, he's back.
CIA shut us down.
To the 3-letter agency listening to this and wiretapping it, please. It's all jokes. Right.
Well, I was hacked by the News of the World for 6-7 months. Have you heard of the newspaper News of the World years ago?
Yes, absolutely.
So my name came up on the same list as Hugh Grant's, Charlotte Church. You probably don't know who she is. Ryan Giggs, just a load of English sort of celebrities. I wasn't a celebrity. Wow. I was just a soldier, but because I was being spied on by a guy called Glenn Melcare, who was outside my house spying on me when I was training recruits at ATL Winchester, funny enough. Wow. And my name came up in his diary. So the Metropolitan Police contacted me in 2011 and said, "Oh, you've been hacked by the News of the World, your phone. Would you like a payout?" Oh, of course I would. Thank you very much. So I had a letter.
Yeah, of course I would.
The government fucks me enough.
Yeah, so they gave me some money to keep quiet about it, and I've just told her.
Well, you know,
hypothetical, Webster. This is all hypothetical, bro. This is all hypothetical. We've all been drinking, you know.
Hey, I know what it's like getting hacked by those 3-letter agencies because they started playing Spanish commercials on HBO, and I don't speak Spanish, so.
No, it's true. He texted me, Webster. He texted me one day. It's like, these motherfuckers know everything is like, "Hola, ¿cómo está español?" And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like a regular Home Depot commercial, but it's in Spanish. I'm like, you guys are supposed to be outside the store, not in the, what the hell?
Oh, God.
Holy shit!
Muchas
So-
gracias.
Is there a?
I speak a little bit of Spanish.
Just a little
Webster.
bit.
Just a little bit.
Mañana. Do you know, mañana, tomorrow. We do it tomorrow.
Oh God, this got out of hand, Ben. This got out of hand.
It's
And I didn't
HBO's
even
fault.
do it.
It's HBO's
No,
fault.
Jeff had nothing to do with
I had
running this
nothing
one
to
off
do
the
with it.
tracks.
No, the only 3-letter thing I know is GFY.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great saying. I love that one.
Oh God, dude.
No, it's been, I mean, this has been great. I mean, we've learned a lot, I think.
Learn some Spanish anyway.
Big shout out to Ben Rowe, our producer. It gets us. Ben just coming on the chat there. Ben Rowe.
There you go. All
I already
well,
like him. He's got a great.
Yeah, he's got a great. We got to get more people from Britain watching your podcasts.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we
do.
have.
I mean,
No, I will do. I will share out as much as I can, guys. You know,
I think you're the fifth guest to join us from the UK. I mean, Jules joined us from the US, but he originally is from the UK.
Yeah, well, he's coming back. Yeah, he's getting picked
Yeah,
up by Ben
he's
Rowe
actually
tomorrow.
He's in Boston right now.
He's about 40 minutes from me right now. He's in Boston at the
He's
airport.
up in it, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a 6-hour layover.
He wanted me to pick him up from the airport, but we're doing oysters tomorrow and Friday are our busiest days. We're on doing the oysters.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
You drinking? You having a few brews?
They cut your hands up big time. These things.
Oh,
really?
did you? Really?
How
Yeah.
like the
Oysters?
The edges are razors, absolute razors.
bro?
Stick
You
with
gotta
the
go. You gotta
snails.
go to Puerto Rico and have oysters in Puerto Rico.
You gotta wear gloves.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can get them for like. Well, it used to be like a quarter when I was growing up. You get a quarter and you get oysters. It's like 75 cents each. But dude, that smooth, my man, smooth. Never knew oysters could have sharp edge. You remember? You've lived in Puerto Rico. Yeah.
They
it
were
was
50
wild.
cents, I thought.
It's like
No,
swallowing a freaking snot.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, bro. It's good for you.
I got invited out to America because I did the work with the veterans and I made the film Diary of a Disgraced Soldier. There's a father, Phil Salwar, who's he's a Vietnam veteran who contacted me. He watched my film and he said, "Would I come out to the States in 2011?" Went out to Florida and they did the international conference of war veteran ministers. So they like Vietnam veterans that suffered with post-traumatic stress disorder became ministers. I mean, this is a film in itself, right?
Wow, that is a film.
I can get some of these guys on your podcast. They'd love to come on. And I mean, Phil Salwar was amazing. And then he introduced me to Alan Cutter. Now, Alan Cutter wrote the book, The Altar of War. In fact, I think I've got a copy up here. I don't know but if he is an American treasure. Well, they both are. This book here called The Altar of War. And you've all seen you've seen Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
This guy is the real deal. He worked on the Phoenix program, and I've got video footage of him talking about his experiences. So he was hired by the CIA because he could speak Vietnamese, and they brought him out to Vietnam. He was something like 19 years of age. He fell in love with this girl. This local girl, she got shot and killed. He then went over the edge, started drinking scotch every day, working with a death squad, going in at night. I mean, basically, a lot of people. Are you
talking about the Phoenix operation from
the Phoenix program? Yeah, Alan's still alive. Alan's still alive. Yeah, Alan's still alive, and he talks. I've got on foot. So I went out to America and met like Alan's telling his story in this circle, and I'm thinking. This is like the real. This is the real Colonel Kurtz. This is the real Colonel Kurtz.
Do you guys know what this is, Ben and Jeff? Mm-hmm. You know what it is.
Read the Alternate War. It's on Amazon Prime. I think
it's
this
so
guy.
For the people listening, it's basically it was a 3-letter agency operation that was done to pretty much pick up the Viet Cong, but it was like. Some real some people say that was like the beginning of like clandestine what people call wet work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't read that, but I've read I've read some of the unclassified stuff, and I did not know that gentleman was alive. That's That's some real shit right there.
If you go onto the Chris Fall podcast, my friend Chris Fall, he does a podcast in the UK. It'd be good to hook you. I'd like to get him on your show because you could pull a lot of, do a lot of crossover with his podcast because he gets a lot of the English. So I'll link you up with Chris Fall, and Chris Fall interviewed Alan Cutter, and I mean he's a minister now. You know, he's a real beautiful soul, real nice guy. But you wouldn't cross him like. And I said to him once, I said to Alan, Alan, how would you dispatch of people like when you was in the military? And he came behind me and he just ran his thumb across my throat, and it was his thumb was cold. And this guy's done this shit, you know. He just went just like this, like, you know. And I was like, whoa, you know, flipping hell, man, this guy's. And he basically in the end, I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but the team that he trained, this death squad, they were going out and they were murdering people every night. And he thought, how can I reduce the killings? So he started giving them more scotch every night, more alcohol, lacing them with booze. And that was reducing the killings. And then he was going on his R&R to somewhere. And before he went on R&R, he heard the death squad saying, we need to get rid of Alan. We need to tie up the loose ends before the war ended. So Alan basically got on really drunk one night and then just tossed a load of grenades in and blew them up, killed them. And I know, man. It's the stories.
Look it up. Look it up.
It's a film. It's a film that needs to be made. I wish there's too many films I want to make. That's the trouble. And
Right.
There's not enough time in my
Every time you
life.
tell stories like that's a film. That's a film.
Right.
That's a film.
I started too late. I wish but then again, I wouldn't have this experience to.
Dude, you didn't start late, man. Someone's don't say that. Don't ever fucking say that, my man.
But you know, like in my lifetime, there's so many films that I want. Like you say, what's next? I tried to make a Napoleon film about a year ago. We were supposed to start about 2 weeks ago shooting this Napoleon film, and we just couldn't get funding for it. And me and like one of the actors fell out, and the costume department didn't want to get involved.
I can play Napoleon. I'm like 5 feet tall. No, I'm not. I'm 5'7". I'm bigger than Napoleon.
I've seen you, bro. I watched some of your trailers for your. Yeah, it's good. What's that thing you're squishing? That head? How did you squish that head on your trailer? What's that made out of?
It was. I believe that was a cantaloupe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a cantaloupe that we had made up and put a wig on and blood packs and we ran it over.
I love it.
Do you know what?
Put a wig on it.
Yeah. It had
Ben,
to be a head.
It
It had to look like a head.
It reminded me of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
You a horror guy, Webster? You like horror stuff?
I think there's too much of it coming out now, but I do like the old classic stuff. I love Evil Dead. I was going to put one.
I agree.
Yeah, Evil
I
Dead.
agree. I agree with you. There's too much. Like you're trying to do horror Halloween now.
Yeah, I still struggle watching The Exorcist. I find the older ones more scary, I think, because they're almost like if I watch Exorcist or like The Omen and
the original
Omen.
one.
That is the original
that
one.
Was have you seen The Orphan, the second part of it?
I haven't watched a lot of modern ones. They just
Listen
all
to
too
me,
much
go
CGI.
right now, dude, go right now, rent The Orphan, the first movie of The Orphan, and Ben's knows, and the second one. It's a really fucked up movie.
I haven't seen the second one. I saw the first one.
You haven't seen it's on Paramount.
Oh, is it? I haven't seen that.
Paramount for free. It's on Paramount for free. Dude, it takes a lot for me to look at a horror movie and go, oh yeah, that's really fucked up. That movie had me going, I don't know who to hate.
Right?
I don't know who to hate more.
That's a good movie.
For Richard to say, I don't know who the fuck to hate more. That's a movie you gotta check out, bro.
Yes.
So we only got about 4 minutes left.
4?
Well, yeah, we could sit here all night, but
probably.
Bro, if we boost it up,
do an extra 20 minutes. Do an extra.
If we
20
lit
minutes,
it up with some booze, it'd be over. It's over.
I just want my power back so I can eat fucking dinner.
It's like I lost power, bro. It's cold over there. Never mind. I was gonna say just go burn some stuff out back.
Yeah,
it's a little cold outside.
Oh, I got a burn barrel. That'll warm me up.
We had the film director Tony Palmer come to our showing the other night. Tony Palmer directed. He directed with Frank Zappa's 200 Motels. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah,
Frank
I've seen
Zappa's,
it. Yeah,
it's a bit crazy. Like,
Frank Zappa. You know who Frank Zappa is.
I know Frank Zappa,
Oh,
but I haven't seen
okay.
that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why does it hurt when I pee?
Tony Palmer also worked with Richard Burton. He worked with Peter Sellers.
Oh, nice.
And he was involved with the music on the Shining with Kubrick. He was if you watch Kubrick, I mean, I'm a massive Kubrick fan. Like, I mean, if you watch A Life in Pictures, Tony Palmer was asked to direct it. So Tony Palmer interviewed Spielberg, everyone, to have Tony Palmer. He's the one that quoted about the film. It's a very considerable piece of work, and most importantly, an interesting twist on the Bosnia War. Tony Palmer wrote that, and he came to our film night the other night because we did a fundraiser for veterans with PTSD. And we had me, Tony Palmer, and Jim Main, who's in the film Fisherman's Friends, and he's also in Penitent, and that was it. Oh, and Felix Black, who's going to be someone we're working with in the future. So literally, we made £20 for veterans with PTSD, which is. But it just goes to show in England, people don't really give a shit about veterans. To be honest, it's very sad, but that's where we're at.
It's everywhere, unfortunately.
But we had Tony Palmer to ourselves, and we had a chat with him, and he was telling us stories about Kubrick and things like that, and just I mean, there's untold documentaries done on. I said to him, so why did Kubrick get? He goes, he just consulted me on the music for The Shining. I mean, it's just, yeah. And do you know how I got to meet him? My dad fixes his swimming pool. My father fixes his swimming pool because he's got this house in Cornwall, beautiful house.
Wow.
And my father fixes his swimming pool. And he said, my son makes films. And he went, we'll get him to drop a film. So my dad I literally got his email address, fired the film off. It didn't have any music on it, and he loved it. So getting Tony Palmer on board. And also I need to shout out to Mark Ryan, bless him. Mark Ryan's the voice of Bumblebee from Transformers. We've got to get him on this podcast. I've spoken.
Yeah.
I mean,
we would definitely get him.
Up there with Jules and that. He's a real A-lister. He's done a lot of stuff. And also he knew Lewis Collins from The Professionals. I don't know if you've heard of Lewis Collins. Mm-hmm. He ended up passing away in America, but he was like a great British actor. Mark's also friends with Jason Connery, who's Sean Connery's son, and he's very, very good pals with Ray Winston. You've all heard of Ray Winston, the British actor. So
yes,
we got a little thumbs up from Ray about our film, saying, I don't know if he's watched it yet, but like you guys, he's not seen it yet.
Black Sails.
Oh yeah, Black Sails. Yeah, Mark's in Black Sails. Have you seen that?
No.
The pirate.
That's the one with supposed to be Blackbeard, but he goes by a different name.
Yeah, might be. Yeah, might be that. I've not watched it myself. It's on Amazon Prime. I need to.
Everything's on Amazon Prime. No wonder I can't watch. No, this isn't porn. Black Sails is a pirate.
No, that's
on
Black
that.
No. That's Black Lace.
Now, if it's your eyes Sails, then it might be a porno, but it's Sales. Sales, yeah.
What's Edward Thatch, Ben? Ben's coming in there, chipping in with stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, because I told him he only had like 2 minutes left, so he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna keep throwing shit in the chat."
Yeah.
So
talk about this.
People that we need to line up for podcast is we've got to get Mark Ryan on here. Mm-hmm. Got to get Jules back on because he's funny and he's good to have on the show. Steve Kelly, who's once you've seen Penitent, then you'll have an understanding who Steve Kelly is. This guy here.
Yes.
And I don't know if Tony Palmer would come on the show because he's quite elusive. I mean, I don't know how he turned up to our film the other night. It was weird. We had nobody to watch our film but Tony Palmer, and I thought, hang on a minute, would I rather a huge crowd of people or Tony Palmer talking about Stanley Kubrick to ourselves? It's like
right.
Do you know what I mean? It was a good trade-off. Have you got any questions, Jeff?
Yeah. Any last questions other than Rico and Eric?
Well, unfortunately, I kind of missed a lot of what the hell was going on.
It turned into a conspiracy show. Have you got any conspiracies that you want to?
Oh, I'm a conspiracy freak.
Okay, what's about Joe Biden at the moment? What do you guys think of that prick?
Obviously the same thing you do.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my God. Beat the shit out of that man. Like, I'd love to bang his and Boris Johnson's heads together, or where they even know what the Prime Minister's called now. They change every week.
He went toe to toe with Corn Pop, so I don't know if you want to tangle with him.
He's Puerto Rican. Calm down.
That's true. He's Puerto Rican. He'll cut you. He'll cut you.
That's the problem.
What the fuck are people thinking voting for him? Or I suppose it's those voting. What have you sorted out those voting boxes yet? What are these computers? What they call the Dominion.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Has anybody seen? Has anybody seen the new Jeff Dunham special?
No,
not the new one. No,
it's called Me the People. Watch it. That's all I'm going to say about Joe Biden. Watch it.
Is that the guy that just? Is that the guy that does the George Soros impressions? He was on with.
He does a ventriloquist.
He has Walter Peanut.
Jay, Ahmed. Let's put it this way: Walter always starts the show, and Walter came out as Joe Biden. I'm not even fucking kidding you. You have to watch
it. Penitent, and then I'm watching that tonight.
I'm doing that. Son. Yes.
I damn near pissed my pants. I was laughing so hard.
I gotta. All right. We gotta go.
I hope he doesn't die soon, because I want him to do the full term so everyone can see what a dick he is, and then die on the last week. So then Kamala can just have a week.
Yes,
at least a week. You get a week of Kamala. You got to have a week of Kamala.
Well, you know, as long as they keep him away from stairs, I don't think he's gonna die.
And bicycles.
And bicycles. Yeah, bicycles.
And kids.
And kids.
Fucking pedo.
In women's hair.
Yeah.
So, anyway, on that note,
and that's how I roll.
Rico and Eric. Where do you like people following you?
Oh man! First of all, thanks for having us.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun.
It's always nice to come by, and we appreciate it, man. You can follow us on Facebook on the Rico Podcast. You can follow us on TikTok, Rico Podcast.
We have a Patreon as well,
and you can follow us on Patreon.
You'll be shadow banned now. You'll be shadow. You'll be shadow banned. You have like
iHeartRadio,
baby.
You're gonna get one view a week, and you'll be like, "Hey, this doesn't make sense." I've ticked all the boxes tonight. This is getting shadow banned. This one.
I can put this everywhere.
Martin, where do you like interacting with your fans the best on the socials?
Where do I interact with my fans? I don't really have any
on social media.
As I could tell the other night when on my film showing, we really had the film director turn up. I don't have any fans, mate. Fanned us. We're gonna have a cult following. We're gonna have a cult following. That's what we're gonna have.
There you go. Amazon Prime. You can find him. He's there.
So you can find him in the show notes up above or down below, folks, if you want to get in touch with this amazing gentleman. So, Mr. I Have No Power.
I'm in the dark. I apologize to everybody.
That's usually every show.
Well, yeah, I'm in the dark a lot, but I mean, this is the real deal now. It's like, what the fuck?
Literally.
Like, literally, you know? I don't like it because it's dark outside, too.
Jeff, you look like the flea. You look like the flea from Chili Peppers, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You flea sad.
I don't know.
He does. He looks like Flea.
Is that a compliment? I mean, I've been told I look like Ray Liotta, but.
Webster Films Twitter. Oh yeah. We got Webster Films Twitter. You can find us on there.
So yeah, as far as us, just go to stilltoking.com.
Oh, if you go to YouTube, our Webster Films YouTube, we're trying to get some subscribers up there. But you can see the Grail trailer. You can see the Napoleon film that would have been made, but it's not going to be made. You can see you can see the trailer for Penitent, and what else is on there? Yeah,
all kinds of cool shit.
Now that we've just literally got the trailers up there of the films I wanted to make and ones that I have made and the ones that I haven't made. I'm very good at making trailers, but not the actual full film. Grail's going to be good, man. Grail's going to be biblical. We need a lot of money to make that. We've got to cast you guys as cameos in that. We're going to have to get you over from the States.
Absolutely. One of our agents is from the UK.
Yes.
So because we are actually
Puerto
represented by the same agency as Jules.
Right.
Oh, you? Oh,
So
that's interesting.
Spencer Wilding is one of our agents.
Right. And I can play a guy in the dark.
Yes.
Where can they find you, Jeff?
Stilltoken.com. Just go to stilltoken.com or Token with the Dead on Facebook. All the links will be there, and you can see all our shit that we're doing. Everything.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
like Jeff said, stilltoken.com, best place to find us. Just hang out when we close out the show, Martin. I know you want to go to bed because you got to get up early and it's like fucking almost midnight.
No, I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
But to all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can do what we do. We are out of here. Stay safe. We'll see you next week.
Nice.